Welcome back to another 90 Day Fiancé recap. This is The Other Way Season 7, Episode 11. This is going to be podcast style. So no visuals. You do not have to watch. You can just play this and listen. Go do your chores, do your cleaning, do your homework, go eat, do your Sunday reset, whatever you need to do while you listen. And partially the main reason why is I didn't do this in time for the editor to have enough time to edit it before Monday, before the next episode airs. So that's my fault. I've been procrastinating. I've been so busy. Let me just do the recap first, and then I'll get into like the whole personal life thing at the very end. So let's start with the recap. Who should we start with? Let's start with Dylan and Patia. So Dylan brings Patia to an Irish pub. She doesn't love it. She goes in there, it's empty, nobody's there, the vibe is dead. She's like, where is everyone? And he's like, vibe, it's a Tuesday night. And she's like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And then Dylan goes up on stage and starts singing a song for her about how his heart was jumping around like a kangaroo when he first laid his eyes on her. And then in his song, he talks about how he gave her a ring and took it back and he's sorry about that. And she starts crying. I was a little shocked. I was like, okay, very sweet. He's like, I'm sorry I gave you a ring and took it back. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, listen, his guitar skills aren't that bad. His singing is surprisingly not horrible. He can sing on key for the most part. She was very touched by it. And then they go to Dylan's mom's house. And Dylan is the one to cook dinner. Now, this part kind of pissed me off, and I would love to know your thoughts on this. So he secretly made kangaroo meat and fed it to her. Like everyone was eating it, and she didn't know it was kangaroo meat, but she made it clear to him before that she did not want to eat kangaroo meat. And he knew this, so that's why he didn't tell her ahead of time. And then after she eats it, and she's like, oh, this is good. And she eats her meat and her vegetables. And then the mom spills that it's kangaroo meat. And then she was like, oh, no, Dylan, you know I didn't want to eat kangaroo meat. And he was like, yeah, but if I told you, then I knew you wouldn't want to eat it. You wouldn't even want to try it. I wanted you to try. And she's like, okay. I thought that was messed up because he knew she didn't want to eat kangaroo meat. And the fact that he just completely disregarded her wants, it just kind of shows that he's, one, disrespectful. He disregards what she wants and what she says. And he doesn't care. He doesn't really care. He's just going to do whatever he wants in the end. And I don't like that. It's funny because in the last episode, I was on Dylan's side. But in this episode, I don't really like Dylan. I'm definitely seeing the red flags. Like last episode, Patia pissed me off. Okay. She was so annoying and acting like a child with her debt and her shopping addiction. But now he's not so great either. So then at the dinner table, they start talking about the tension between Patia and Dylan's mom. And Patia is just honest. And she's like, listen, I'm just going to tell you why. Dylan told me that you didn't like me because I was too old and you wanted him to be with someone younger who could give you a grandchild. And she's like, I never said that. And even Dylan says, I never told you that, babe. And Patia's like, yeah, you did. And that's the whole reason why I had so much anger towards her. And I held onto this resentment for years. I didn't like your mother because you told me that she didn't support our relationship. So I don't know if they're both gaslighting her. I don't know who's lying. I don't know if one person's lying or they're both lying or they're both in on it. I couldn't tell. But basically the mom was saying, I never said that. And then Dylan was like, I apologize if I ever said that. And Patia's like, no, you definitely said that. So there's a lot of gaslighting happening. Patia is super upset with Dylan. She doesn't know if she can trust him because she held on to this resentment towards his mother for the longest time, for years, because of this. And to find out that it wasn't even true, like he just lied, or who's lying? Is it Dylan's mom or Dylan? Now, I feel like she probably said that because it's not abnormal for a mom to say that about a super huge age gap relationship, right? I think that's a normal thing to say, and she probably did say that. And whatever. I mean, she's allowed to think that, no? Let's move on to Manon and Anthony. First, I want to say, Manon, girl, I try to understand you and see things from your point of view because I can relate in terms of the body shaming culture and the trauma that comes from it. But girl, you lost me in this episode. So first, she and Anthony go to see a house that they found online for sale. She's super excited. Anthony brings up that renting an apartment could be a possibility, and she freaks out. She's like, "No, Anthony, I don't want to rent. Get me out of the car right now. I am not living in an apartment." And then she calls an apartment living in jail. I'm like, are you insane? Now, I know that this is always a debate, right? Apartment versus a house. Why rent? Why put money down the drain when you can start building equity into a house and blah, blah, blah. Listen, all I'm going to say is buying a house isn't for everyone. It depends on your living situation, your relationship, your finances, and honestly, a personal preference. The only reason why I want to buy a house is to have a backyard so that my dogs can play in it. That's the only reason. If I didn't have dogs, I would stay in an apartment or a condo forever where they take care of everything, right? I also am single, so I don't want to fix anything. I don't want to mow the lawn. I don't want to rake the leaves. I don't want to plow the snow. I don't want to do any of that. Anyway, back to Manon. Her reactions give me so much anxiety just watching her, so I can't even imagine how Anthony feels, but I feel like Anthony has it in the bag. He knows how to handle her. He knows how to deal with her. He is so calm. He's always so calm. I have never, ever seen him once lose his temper, raise his voice. Like, I'm Team Anthony. I really like him. So anyway, after Manon starts freaking out, he's like, "Whoa, you're acting like I said that we're going to be homeless right away or something. We're not going to have a bed to sleep in. We're going to literally go to jail." And he's trying to tell her, like, let's just consider all our options. And she's like, "No, I want to buy a house." Dude, I don't know how Anthony always stays calm, especially when her reactions are so over the top. I'm finding his patience very attractive. They get to the house. She's elated. She loves it. She's so happy. She loves all the rooms. She loves all the bathrooms. She loves the kitchen. She loves the backyard. She loves the pool. She loves the view, like everything. And in their confessional, she kind of like puts him down. She's like, "Who doesn't network? Who doesn't have social skills? You." And I'm like, damn. So then they go outside. Like I said, she loves the view. She loves the pool. She's like, "Oh my God, I could walk around naked and no one will see me." Like, oh, she's just seeing all the potential and what this house could become, like their dream house. The house is $420,000. She tells him that she has $100,000 cash, and the agent says that's amazing because most people in France don't have like a third of the cash to put down up front. So the chances of her getting this house are really great. But there's one problem. There's asbestos in the roof, which is going to cost around $45,000 to fix. And she's like, "Oh, wow, okay." But then he says the owner is going to deduct that from the final price of the house. So she's like, "Oh my God, this is meant to be. This is my house. This is going to be my house." Now, Anthony wants to look at more houses because this is the very first house that they've looked at in France. And Manon, I feel like I can kind of relate to her in the sense where you see something and you get so excited and you're ready to go all in right away. Like, you don't want to wait. There's no point in seeing anything else. Like, you want to do this. And that's how I get. I just had that moment with my apartments, and my mom literally forced me to look at more apartments. And I was like, no, this is the perfect apartment. It was the first apartment that I saw when I came back here looking for my next apartment to live in. I found a brand new apartment that they were building, and they were almost done building. So I would be the first tenant there, and I was really excited about that. And so we toured it, and it was just perfect. I was like, I love the colors. I love the kitchen. I love the floors. It's perfect. Like, I don't need to look at any other places because I am set on this place. Everything is perfect. And she's like, "No, you got to look at least one other place." And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Yes, you do." And I was like, "Fine." So I looked at another place and I loved it even more. I was like, "Oh my God, what was I thinking?" Like, the first apartment, it's great, but like, this is way better. And then last minute, I decided to look at 2 other apartments, which were also newer builds. And my mom and I went to look at it, and I loved these 2 apartments more than the first and the second apartment. I ended up picking the 3rd apartment that I looked at. I looked at 4 total apartments and I picked the 3rd. I actually was very close to picking the 4th, but it was out of my budget. So after the house tour, they start talking about jobs and their finances. She's ready to go back to work because it's going to take a while for Anthony to learn French and find a job. And even when he does find a job, he's not going to make much money. He's like, "But I'm really, really hesitant on ruining what we have going right now. The whole point of us moving to France was so that you didn't work and you focused on your relationship with our son and I would work. And she's like, yeah, but you're never going to make as much money as I do. Like, you're going to make pennies compared to what I make. I mean, my God, like, talk about beating a dead horse. She just kicks him and then like continues to kick him when he's down. Moving on to Jenny and Sumit. So it's another day at the family cafe. Everybody's there ready to work. Jenny's got this giant pout on her face because they didn't make any money yesterday. Remember, it was like the marketing day. So they were giving out free food, it was basically publicity for their new cafe. And she's like, we made no money yesterday. Am I the only one focused on making some money? So I feel like any normal person who so badly wants to get out of their current living situation, and the only way to do so is to make money at your new family business, then I would think that you would learn the menu inside and out. You would work really hard on learning how to make the best coffee drinks, right? Because one of your differentiators from all the other cafes near you is that you have that fancy schmancy coffee machine. So I would think that you would learn how to use it. You would maybe think of some cool cafe latte art, but no, she didn't learn anything. She still doesn't know how to use a coffee machine. She doesn't even know how to grind the beans. She doesn't know how to do anything. And I'm just thinking, Jenny, you are so effing useless. Like, all you do is complain. And you complain about your situation. You want to get out of there. You want to make money, but you don't do anything about it. So they get their first customer and he wants a cappuccino. And she's like, okay, I gotta find the milk container. So she's looking all around for this stainless steel container where you make the coffee and whatever. She's banging all the pots and pans looking for this, and the customer's waiting. She finally finds it and places it on the machine, but she doesn't know how to work it. She's like, oh, there's so many buttons. Which one do I push? How do I grind the beans? And then she's like, Papa, Papa. She calls for Sumit's dad because, I don't know, I guess he knows, but he doesn't really know. He comes out and he's like, what's going on? Jenny and Papa are so confused. Okay, they're just banging all the different buttons. And the customer goes, did you even plug it in? Like, I don't even think it's plugged in. And they're like, oh my God, you're right. That's why it wouldn't work, because we didn't plug it in. So Sumit finally comes out because he hears all the banging and the yelling. And he's like, do you need help? And Jenny is still not able to figure out how to do the beans. And the customer goes, okay, I think I've waited long enough. I gotta go. And Sumit's like, wait, it'll just be a minute. And he's like, no, I've been standing here for 30 minutes. And he walks away. Sumit is devastated because that was the very first customer. And he tells Jenny, listen, you got to learn how to be way quicker. And Jenny catches an attitude because she doesn't like being told what to do. And she's like, Sumit, you want to know what I can do right now? I can go home. She's so annoying. She's so annoying. How is she going to throw a fit, complain about not making any money when she hasn't even practiced making coffee on the new machine? How? Make it make sense. She's so entitled. She's so annoying. She's useless. I think she's bad for business. I think she needs to stay home. Now let's move on to Chloe, her mom, and Johnny. They go out to dinner. He learns that they couldn't find an affordable car. He asks if they can ship her car from America to Aruba, and her mom goes, no, because I am financially cutting her off. I'm not supporting her anymore, so she's going to have to figure it out, and she doesn't have the money to ship her car. Now, Johnny is kind of happy about Chloe being cut off financially because maybe then she'll grow up and kind of be forced to figure out if she really wants to live in Aruba and be in this relationship. Chloe is, she's annoying. She's acting like the spoiled brat she is. She tells her mom, why are you being so negative? Like, I never said this. I never said that. Like, are you even listening to me? Blah, blah, blah. Now, Chloe's mom is also crazy because she proposes to Chloe and Johnny to move to Boston. And that is the only way she would be able to financially support them. And I'm like, why are you even giving them an option to do that? Like, are you crazy? Are you insane? Just let your daughter stay there. She'll probably last maybe a month. And then her ass will be back in Boston with her tail between her legs and you'll be happy. Like, bringing Johnny to the States and being financially responsible for him, that is insane. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Okay, well, that's it for the recap. And I don't know why, but my nose is runny. Am I catching a cold? Okay, now that the recap is over, let's talk about whatever I want. So yesterday was Saturday. I stayed in. I wasn't feeling well. I had a headache, which I have a leftover headache right now, which I'm dealing with. I took 2 extra strength Excedrins yesterday. I was trying to go med-free, and this is a problem. Every time I have a headache and I'm like, you know what? Let me just try to get through this without medicine. It gets so bad all day. It doesn't go away. it gets worse and worse and worse. And then I regret having not taken it because I end up wasting the entire day and I do nothing, which is what happened yesterday. So anyway, I took the meds. It's starting to get better, but we'll see. I might have to take 2 more. That's besides the point. I didn't want to talk about that. So yesterday, since I had nothing else to do, I decided to start and finish, basically binge, the entire Danish Deception series. Say that fast 5 times. Danish Deception. I can't even say it twice. If you don't know what it is a 25-part series about a girl who got married to this man, the love of her life, and she found out that he was an addict, gambling addict to be exact. And she just goes through the entire story. She's a great storyteller, in my opinion. I was hooked. I was listening to the whole entire thing. I couldn't stop. A lot of people are talking about how she was desperate. She's a pick-me. She would have never ended the relationship. And I kind of do believe that because, so first, she met him on vacation. She describes him as this tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed man who was like, he looked like he walked out of a Calvin Klein ad. I looked at him, I mean, whatever. I mean, everyone has their own taste. So they started their relationship. It was like love at first sight. They bonded. They got along so well. And then they started traveling together to see each other. And they traveled, I think, once a month. Like they would travel a lot. And in the beginning, he basically love bombed her. He would buy her these gifts. He brought her into Dior, told her to pick whatever she wanted. He took her on these vacations, paid for it. They stayed at the fanciest hotel that she's ever been in. She also found out that he went to the Olympics. I can't remember what sport it was. Did she even say? But he was an Olympian. And she also found out that he had a royal title. Okay. And then there came a time when he needed help. And she was like, you know what? We're in this for real. And you've spoiled me so many times that I'm going to lend you this money. And, of course, I'm going to be there for you when you need me. So I think she lent him like $5,000. And then it was another $10,000. And then it just became one horrible thing after another horrible thing where he needed money after another. And then she found out through a friend that he has a gambling addiction. Now he told her it was 10 years ago. He went to rehab. He fixed it. He doesn't gamble anymore, but that was a lie because she found his account. And the thing is, if you listen to her whole story, he lied to her so many times and she would catch him in a lie, confront him, work on the relationship, catch him in another lie, work on the relationship, catch him in another lie, work on the relationship. And it happened about 25 times. Maybe that's why it was 25 parts. And then we find out that he finally ended the relationship. It wasn't even her. He ended it. So everyone's like, oh my God, she would have still been in that marriage had he not ended it himself. And now she's got the ick. After 25 vacations, 25 lies, $25,000 of hers gone, she finally is okay with the demise of their marriage and relationship. And then afterwards, she finds out that he basically took money from all of her closest friends and family members. Her little sister, her dad, her coworker's husband, her friends, everyone that he could get money from, he took behind her back. He would basically say that it was a surprise for her and please don't tell her because it's a surprise and I'm going to pay you back as soon as possible after like my funds clear from this investment, blah, blah, blah. And so she's going to sue him. So she's getting a lot of backlash. The reaction to her story is very opposite of Risa Tisa's Who the F Did I Marry? Because Risa got a lot of sympathy, got a lot of love, and she is getting a lot of hate. So yeah, let me know if you guys have heard it. I think it's definitely worth a listen. I think the whole entire series altogether lasted like 4 hours if you listen to it on normal speed, which, speaking of speed, I posted a community post asking you guys at what speed do you listen to your videos or watch your videos, and overwhelming majority said normal, and I was shocked because I listen to everything on 1.5 to 2 times speed. Usually my sweet spot is 1.5. And 86%, the last time I checked, said normal speed, and I'm like, wow. And people were mentioning how if you can't get through a video on normal speed, that means your attention span is so short and pretty much shot. And I was like, it is. When I'm on TikTok doom scrolling, I have to set the TikTok on 2 times speed. I cannot watch videos get through it on normal speed anymore. And I don't know if that's a problem or not. I know I talked about my move earlier, but I don't know how far along I got. I told you guys that I was moving twice, one from my parents' house and one from DC because half of my stuff is in DC. It's costing me an arm and a leg. I keep regretting my move to DC, but I have to remember my main priority was to help my sister's sobriety journey. I think she is 1 year and I think 2 months sober almost, and I'm so proud of her. So if you guys didn't know, I do have a second channel. I've changed the name so many times. I've changed the type of content so many times. I don't really know what I'm going to stick with. I think I'm going to use that second channel as a space where I do whatever I want. I post whatever I want. It's going to be a variety of things. And then when I find the one that I want to stick with, then I'll stick to it. So I've also been thinking about doing a podcast. So I think I'm just going to sprinkle everything in. I'm going to do maybe podcast episodes once a week. I'm going to do a vlog once in a while, just whatever I want. So if you want to follow me there, you can. And I have posted a few videos with just my face in it, no filter, but I took it down because I have this thing where I like do something and then I regret it and I get embarrassed and then I delete everything. So I had a moment like that, so I deleted all that. I'm going to be moving in exactly 7 days, so maybe I'll vlog that, but I'm not going to have all my furniture. Half of it is in DC, so I'm going to be sleeping on a couch or an airbed. If you got this far, comment down below a potato emoji and a peace sign emoji together so that I know you guys stayed until the end, okay? It's going to be like our secret little message. And yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.